So question 15. You're given the structural formula of cyclohexane, and the name gives information about the structure of the compound. Hex because there are 6 carbon atoms, and cyclo because they are joined in a ring. What information about the structure is provided by AIN? That's a that's a question. तो ये AIN का क्या मतलब है? So what you're going to write is क्या लिखोगे? कि it's saturated word use करना. It means that the molecule is saturated. All bonds are single bonds. That is what it means. And what are the molecular formula? Molecular formula is the total number of carbon atoms. So that's सारे total कर लो, that's 6. And hydrogen's total कर लो, that's if you count all of them, that's 12. So it's C6. NH is 12. Empirical formula simplest ratio, so C1H2. ठीक है, so clear है ये? Ahmed, clear है? Is it?
Yes.
अच्छा, अब ये करो कि जल्दी से इसका मुझे स्ट्रक्चर बताओ. साइक्लोहेक्सेन तो देख लिया, साइक्लोब्यूटेन किस तरह होगा? ऑल्दो हमने साइक्लिक कंपाउंड्स नहीं पढ़े, लेकिन उससे एक्सप्लेन कर दिया था. ये ड्रॉ करके भेजो. हेक्सीन का मुझे मॉलिक्यूलर फॉर्मूला बताओ. एंड why is cyclohexane and hexene isomers? ये quickly पहले ना cyclobutane. Send me the picture of what cyclobutane looks like. Remember, alkenes is CnH2n. The hex is 6 carbon atoms, and then you have and then you have okay, why are they isomers? क्योंकि hexene is also C6H12, and उसमें बस hexene और उसमें the only difference is I'm going to draw them both in front of each other. The only difference, अब उसने नहीं बताया कि कौन सा hexene है, क्योंकि the double bond could be anywhere. Hexene would be straight chain, just simple straight chain. क्योंकि if it was in a ring structure, they would have said cyclo, ठीक है? So there's going to be a double bond. So I'm going to put the double bond anywhere, and the rest would be hydrogen. So there would be 2 hydrogens here, one hydrogen with this one, 2 hydrogens here, 2 here, 2 here, and 3 at the end. And if you total this, this is C6H12. And this one is also C6H12. So both of them have the same molecular formula, but the arrangement, you can have a look at the arrangement. The arrangement is different. 6 carbon atoms in a ring structure, 6 carbon atoms. This one is an alkane actually, no double bonds. This one is an alkene. It has double bonds. So, so why are they isomers? Because they have the same molecular formula and different structural formulas. Now, one more thing that has to be, what about the next one? How do you differentiate between an alkene, hexene, and hexane, a cyclohexane? What's what's the test? Let me open the. Where is your? There's another one. So does anyone know what the test is of identifying an alkene? This is probably we're going to go through all the reactions of alkenes. Let the board.
It's by adding bromine.
I think bromination is the test. Okay, so that's where's alkenes? One second. This is so this is where we started quickly. So somewhere, no. Here. This is alkenes, and I told you that all alkenes. So let's go through all the reactions of alkenes. We studied that the first one, they all are addition reactions. You have a double bond, and things get added to the double bond, and that's the first reaction. This is used as a test for identifying alkenes. It's bromination, or you can do this with chlorine as well, but usually mostly it's bromine. And bromine simply goes and double bond. It sticks to the double bond. The double bond vanishes, and the carbons are then, instead of forming bonds with each other, they're forming one bond each with bromine. And it's used for identifying unsaturated hydrocarbons. The red brown bromine decolorizes. So remember this, it's a test for identifying unsaturated hydrocarbons. Again, it's going to be asked very frequently. The other reactions were hydrogenation. H2 can be added to a double bond. So what was it used for? Unsaturated vegetable oil would turn into margarine. By the addition of hydrogen, the molecule size would slightly increase. Okay, very slightly bigger in size because you have two more hydrogens in the molecule. So the melting and boiling point slightly increases. So margarine is kind of like butter. It's solid in form and it has a slightly higher melting point. Then you had a hydration reaction and you had addition, polymerization at the end. So coming back to this, so the test would be Br2 aqueous and with alkane, no reaction. With alkene, red brown bromine decolorizes. Decolorizes. So this one, complete the definition of a hydrocarbon. Explain what is meant by the term fractional distillation and so how would you describe a hydrocarbon? It's a two-mark question, and it's a very simple definition. I mean, the name itself is the definition. क्या होगी साथ क्या लिखोगे hmm? A hydrocarbon is a compound which contains what? Hydrogen and carbon only. ठीक है, remember only alkanes and alkenes are hydrocarbons. Alcohols, carboxylic acids, they have other elements as well. So they're not precisely hydrocarbons. Then you have fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is what is meant by the term fractional distillation. Actually, it has nothing to do with the organic chemistry. Is only asking, or in context of organic chemistry, is only asking the definition of fractional distillation. So it's the separation of miscible liquids So it's the separation of miscible liquids uh, due to the differences in the boiling points. In the boiling points. Then you have so then the next one is some of the fractions obtained from petroleum are given below. This one is Rhodes. TK, we did all of this. Somewhere we did all of this. I think did we do fractional distillation? Probably it's not done.
Sir, we did fractional distillation a long time ago.
हाँ but ठीक है not over here. ये बाकी uses lubricating fractions. Do you remember lubricating fraction? I mean that's waxes. Car wax कर लो. ठीक है that's. What about paraffin? Do you remember what paraffin is used for? What is the other name for paraffin? Okay, it's called kerosene. Kerosene and paraffin are the same thing, and it's used as airplane fuel. Okay, I can simply. Why don't we simply Google it? Just one second. There would be an image. So, fractional distillation of petroleum. So, if you have a look at this molecule, at this diagram, I'm going to explain what fractional distillation was and how was crude oil refined. When you take oil from the ground, it is a mixture. It's heated at very high temperatures. It vaporizes, and then there's this chimney-like thing, and this vapor is goes up. And when it goes up, it starts to cool down. So the first thing to condense are the things that have high melting and boiling point, like bitumen. Uh, Bitumen is the leftover at the end. That's your tar. Then you have fuel oil, lubricating fractions. Uh, Diesel is air. That's used for heavy transportation. Kerosene is paraffin. So that's used in airplanes. Petrol is called gasoline. Naphtha is it's used in chemical industry, and then you have petroleum gases that don't get condensed. Even when you cool them down to 20 degrees centigrade, they're still gases. So they are your domestic heating gases. So gasoline fraction is cars. Then the next part is I think last time we did this question. We did this question as well. This was the last question that we did yesterday. Now, the question is enzymes can catalyze the hydrolysis of starch. Name another compound that is a catalyst for this reaction. So, this is about hydrolysis, and this is somewhere over here we studied condensation polymerization, and here we learned that how condensation polymers were formed. You had polyesters, you had polyamides, synthetic polyamides, and proteins. Now, it must be written somewhere. I don't know where we wrote this down, but all these condensation polymers they can be broken down by heating with dilute acid or dilute alkali. All of them they can be broken down. Hydrolysis, lysis means breaking down. So he's asking us to break starch. Where is starch? Starch is this thing. Where did starch go? Starch is this thing. ठीक है, remember I told you that you're going to get the exact same question. So this is starch, and the way you can break the starch molecule back into simple sugars like glucose is by heating it with a dilute acid or a dilute alkali. So all these addition polymers, they're going to get broken down. So 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 dilute acid plus heat. And both starch and glucose are named the elements found in all carbohydrates. If you remember glucose, it's C6H12O6, so it's carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Then you have yeast cells are added to aqueous glucose fermentation, produces a solution containing up to 10% of ethanol. Complete the word equation for the fermentation of glucose. So fermentation of glucose was what? So fermentation. This is fermentation. So fermentation of glucose was this equation that you added yeast to glucose, and it would form ethanol and carbon dioxide. So this is ethanol and carbon dioxide that's produced, and yeast is added and anaerobic conditions are required, absence of O2. The conditions are 25 degrees centigrade to 35. That's room temperature. You can't use a higher temperature. Why? Because yeast gets denatured at higher temperatures because it's a biological catalyst. You can't use a low temperature because yeast would be inactive. Again, because it's a biological catalyst. And the reaction has very low yield. It doesn't produce a lot of ethanol. Why? Because the alcohol is an antibacterial, which is why you're using your hand sanitizers. Alcohol kills the yeast. So as soon as alcohol is produced, it starts killing the yeast that is producing it. So which is the reason why most of the yeast would eventually die because of the production of ethanol. So not a lot of ethanol is going to be produced. And oxygen, there should be no oxygen because in the presence of oxygen, the alcohol gets oxidized to carboxylic acid. So you get carboxylic acid instead of the alcohol. And so next is, so over here you're going to add ethanol and what was the other thing? It was carbon dioxide. Explain why it's necessary to add yeast and suggest why the amount of yeast in the mixture increases. Why does the yeast increase? Because yeast is a biological catalyst and it probably reproduces. That's just my hunch. We can. I mean, that's the only reason. It probably. I mean, which is why even when you're baking cakes or pizza dough, so the amount of yeast, and that's why you set it. When you mix yeast in dough, you put it there for some time. You allow it to reproduce so that it does more of this carbon dioxide production. And because of this carbon dioxide production, your dough kind of rises. Now, fermentation is carried out at 35. For many reaction, a higher temperature would give a faster reaction. Why is a higher temperature not used? Why? Because yeast is denatured at a higher temperature. Now, the organic waste, the residue of the barley and yeast, is deposited off through a pipeline into the area in the future. In the future, this waste will be converted into biogas by the anaerobic respiration of bacteria. So, anyways, he's saying, what is the question? He's saying anaerobic means in the absence of oxygen. Suggest an explanation why oxygen must be absent. The organic, I mean, is he talking about this part? The organic waste, the residue of the barley and yeast into the sea. In the future, this waste will be converted into biogas by the of bacteria. Biogas, which is mainly methane, will supply most of the island. So why should oxygen be absent? Because you have methane. Because he said that methane is mainly being produced. That's your gas in your heater. So if there's oxygen present, so methane would react with oxygen and it would produce carbon dioxide and water molecules. Okay, so you don't want oxygen to be there. Okay, for example, in your pipeline, in your gas pipeline, you don't want oxygen to be there. I mean, there would be an explosion. The obvious advantage of converting the waste into methane is economic, suggests two other advantages. So, what are the two other advantages? One is that it's going to be renewable. Reason it's going to be renewable is your your starting material is glucose. That is renewable. You can grow more glucose. Okay, that's the number one point. It's renewable. You're not going to run out of this source of energy. And the other advantage would be less pollution because the organic waste is not thrown in the sea. I mean, they were throwing it in the sea. In the sea, that's it. So try and answer this question. Okay, you have the yeah. I'm sending this on in the group as well. Try and answer this. Okay, I'm waiting for the answers. You can ask me about if you need any help. ठीक है, for example, first one. ये सारे answer करो. What's the advantage and one disadvantage of using each method?